I'm speaking with Gord McPherson, who along with his wife Reed farm in the Holtby sub-watershed, which is part of the Kettle Webby project. And Gord, you were on this property back 25 years ago when the Sweet project was underway. How has that worked for you over the years?
Actually, it's worked out really well. Actually, there is a fair bit of erosion there coming into that area, and we put a Higginbottom and a fairly good-sized berm there. There's one got to be about probably 10 feet high, and it's worked out. And I think, well, with this last project, we've seen quite a bit of soil collection in there from the land from the upper part of that bowl.
When we installed that terrace this past summer, and we saw where there was about at least 2 feet of soil, topsoil, I guess, down in that in the berm catchment area. Did that open your eyes at all? It was kind of a shock.
That was a big thing. When we say there was, well, the contractor figured there was about 50 loads, dump truck loads came out of there, so that was amazing that there's that much soil that moved from the top part of the hill down into that basin.
Yeah. Did that, when you saw that amount of soil that came off, I guess, the side slopes there, did that kind of did that have any influence on your decision maybe to do some other work on the farm? Yeah,
that's like when you and Don came in and had some ideas about maybe slowing down the displacement of soil and nutrients even more in the upper part of that slope, then that sure makes a difference. And there still was erosion there carrying on, even though we did have that bigger L-shaped berm lower.
Yes, there was still stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Say from 25 years ago, like, did you notice any changes on your farm? Like, has there been extreme weather? Is kind of a key thing that's going on these days. I don't know whether rainfall intensity is greater. Do you notice that on your property, and has that affected the way you've managed the farm at all, or made decisions with regards to some of the BMPs that were installed?
Our farm here, we haven't moldboarded plow for probably I can't even remember if we even have had moldboard plowed this farm in the last 25 years. I don't think we have.
Is that right?
That in itself, leaving corn stalks on most of the area, has made quite a difference, as far as slowing things down. But you still, with the big rain events we have, that you still end up with like real erosion and those the sharper slopes. You just can't help but making those gullies and certain areas that they just seem to get worse. You try to fill them in, but they just wash out again.
Yeah, you've tried to do some things to stop them from eroding, but
like you take a cultivator and loosen up the dirt, and then take a blade and try to fill it in, and then it seems like in 3 or 4 days you get another big rain event and it just all washes out again.
Yeah,
and it just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So when you and Don came through with this idea about putting in smaller type berms with Higginbottoms, that sounded like a pretty good idea to me.
Yeah. If we hadn't come in with those types of ideas, or just to give you some things to consider there, do you think you would have done that on your own, or was it, or do you?
No, it's probably. I think it takes people like yourselves or whatever to come in and you see those ideas, and there's money available, which makes a huge difference. That you realize that this is something that you should do, and so we're just at the initial stage now to see how much of a difference it's going to make. We haven't had a lot of rainfall, so since we put those in, but I think it's going to make a huge difference. I guess when they started with this Sweet thing 25 years ago, it was basically focused on phosphorus runoff.
Yeah.
And then, it was kind of an eye-opener how much actually nutrients do end up. You just don't think of it from being here this far from a lake, that, the nutrients would end up all the way from here into the lake. But definitely that's what happens. So, and having these different kind of structures or whatever on your farm definitely will slow down that those nutrients entering into a lake or whatever and causing further problems as far as pollution. Definitely if you can stop the erosion, in the field itself, so you don't have areas maybe where you have to work around, so they become non-productive, and those areas are going to even get worse. So you by doing these kind of structures, you actually make more of your land area more available, and then you're also holding that soil in that area, so it's for the fertility of that soil should be better. So in the end, you should end up with better yields. So that's your economic benefit.
When we came onto the farm with Brad and Don and we presented some ideas. Were you open to all the ideas that we suggested, or what was your comfort level in?
I guess the first thing that comes into your head, like how much is this going to cost? Like it's got to be something that we can handle within our cash flow, and does it make sense? And then, once you start talking about numbers and what you're going to do, then you think, well, geez, that sounds like it's really worthwhile. It's going to make quite a difference. And then let's go for it. And it's, with the people that we got here putting the berms in and everything's all worked out with your expertise and Brad's and it went really smooth. And we had good weather.
We had good weather. we
had excellent weather to put those berms in because it was fairly dry and you couldn't ask for any better weather conditions to construct those berms.
We did luck it.
Yeah. We learned so much from SWEEP.
Yeah.
That was an awesome program. And and we had such good results from that, so it makes us very open to any new results.